Yeah, I'll react to that, sure. Just started the intro before play. Let's watch some Philomena Cunk, shall we, fellas? Guys, everyone. Don't care what... go. Moments of wonder.
Computers are all around us, in offices, computer shops, and computer repair shops. It's hard to think of anything that doesn't have a computer in it, except cows. And they've probably got computers in them now. Computers have become part of our culture. Scenes like this are commonplace. You have to ask the question, are we looking at the computers or are the computers looking at us? Even though the answer to that question is obvious, it sounds spooky. The computer was invented by Charles Babbage in 1822, but it didn't have a screen, so no one knew what it was doing. Konrad Zuse managed to invent a proper one in Germany in 1936, but that one got bombed up by the British. And that meant we could invent it first again, thanks to a man called Alan Turing here at Bletchley Parks in War II. Unlike today's computers, this early computer is made of transistors and pipes. And as you can see, it's absolutely huge. And the mouse has gone missing, but it must have been the size of a car. The invention of the computer was of primary benefit to one particular group of people, video game players. Until computers, they'd had to play the games using a pen and paper or coloured bits of dough. A game of Pac-Man could take 3 days just to set up if the peas kept rolling off the table. The computer changed all.
Okay, okay. I thought this was serious for a second.
Rolling off the table. The computer changed all that. There's almost nothing a person can do that a computer can't, except ride a horse. So lots of jobs have been replaced by computers. Perhaps one day we'll have a computer queen, with the real queen just used for the bits that are on a horse. In the future, I'd be able to ask a computer about computers, but for now, I'll have to speak to a human who is an expert in computers. So, are you a computer expert?
I'm Dr. Sean Holden, and I'm a senior lecturer in computer science at Cambridge University.
Will there ever come a time where we need 2 mouses to work a computer?
I don't think so. I think it's more likely that there'll be a time when you don't need any mouses. Things are moving now towards touchscreens.
She looks affronted. Like
There'll be a time when you don't need any mouses. Things are moving now towards touchscreens, gesture recognition, brain-computer interfaces.
So what's that?
It's where you can sense, to an extent, what someone is thinking.
Like Darren Brown?
Not as well as that.
Right.
Well, not yet, anyway.
Paul McKenna?
You might be able to make the cursor, say, the mouse pointer go left or right.
Just by thinking, go right?
Yeah, that's about where the technology is.
But how can it do that?
Phil McKenna and Pat Robertson or something?
You might be able to make the cursor, the technology is.
But how can it do that? How will it know? I don't understand.
It's possible to get some information about what your brain is doing by things like encephalograms done in a hospital. Encephalograms.
Say it again.
Encephalograms.
Cephalopod?
Encephalograms.
Guys, look at my the screen change. It's a manatee. Look at how cute he is. Okay.
Some information about what your brain is doing by things like encephalograms done in a hospital. Encephalograms.
Say it again.
Encephalograms.
Say it again.
Encephalograms.
Right.
So you can get some information about what your thoughts are doing through that kind of interface, which maybe means you're sticking electrodes on your head at the moment.
Yeah.
But it's early days.
That's amazing, isn't it? Would you get one of those?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, why not? Alan Turing, the weird man.
I love how slightly aggravated she looks at points. Like after he said there wouldn't be 2 mouses. And then here.
Why not?
Sorry.
Yeah, why not? Alan Turing, the weird man who discovered computers, is now a national hero, and people queue for ages to touch the Turing shroud. There are even computers made of cloud now. What next? A computer...
The Shroud of Turin. Is that the Jesus face cloth?
There are even computers made of cloud now. What next? A computer you can eat or fight? Computer music? Who knows? It's enough to make you wonder. Next time on Moments of Wonder, I'll be asking where your lap goes when you stand up.
Next.
Money is at the heart of the UK economy and many others. People fight for it, die for it, and put it in China pigs. So what is money?
Piggy bank.
Put simply, money is the best way we have of telling how much money you've got. Over the
I
centuries...
really like that building. Don't like the walkie-talkie tower. I've said this. The egg tower it always reminds me of Easter. But this one, I think you call it the Shard. Very cool.
Many things of telling how much money you've got. Over the centuries, many things have been used as money, including amber, wheat, eggs, travellers' checks, feathers, book vouchers, lobsters, beads, gold, leather, nectar points, rice, peas, mugs, and money. It was only the last of these that caught on. Increasingly these days, money isn't something you can hold in your hand or bite on like a pirate, because it's stored in the imaginations of computers. And some of those computers are probably here in the Bank of England. But that computer money is in crisis. UK government debt is now £1 trillion, and even one...
Guys, why are we like past the point where we build stuff out of like, even with modern machinery, I want to see buildings like this built, like, and see how it's done. Now it's all done out of steel and concrete. Well, this is concrete, I guess. You know, I just like to see how it's built. That's all.
But that computer money is in crisis. UK government debt is now £1 trillion, and even Wonga can't help. So who can? Maybe a money expert can tell us what money is and what to do. Who are you, and why are you an expert on money?
I'm Will Hutton, I'm an economist, and I'm an economic writer.
What's the difference between economics and economics?
Nothing. It's just the way you pronounce the E. I think I prefer economics to economics, but I wonder what, you could put the same question to the Chancellor and the Governor of the Bank of England and see whether they like the hardy or the softy.
Hardy or softy?
Economics, economics. Economics.
Hard soft.
Okay. Money's all stored in computers these days, isn't it?
Yeah.
How does a computer know what money looks like? How does it know?
Well, how does it recognize anything? How does a computer recognize,
So you don't know?
It's, you know in principle, but you don't know in detail, no.
Do you know what I think's happened? Someone's told a computer what money looks like. They've gone up to a computer and they've said, this is like a £5 note. And then that computer's told the others. When you have a coin, where is the money in that coin? If I were to take a coin and cut it open, could I take the money out of that coin and then it'd be empty?
No, the coin is a token. The whole point about the coins in your pocket is they're universally accepted as a way of buying things. That's what the money is.
How much does it cost to make a 1p piece? Because if it's less than 1p, then it's a con, isn't it? But if it's like more than 1p, then do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
It's sort of not worth it then.
Yeah. It costs a tiny amount of money to create a 1p piece. And that's
So they're ripping us off.
Thank you. I'm leaving
no
now.
one really knows what money
Thank you for your expertise.
is. It will always be an unsolvable problem, like a crossword or a Rubik's Cube. Next time on Moments of Wonder, I'll be asking why there's more water in a tap than you'd expect.
It is a talent to be able to go into an interview with Philomena. They're experts. They know it's all a joke and everything like that. But to save face, not look confused, and just answer her straight, answer her in a way that doesn't forget it.
How have humans become the most top animals on the planet? It's because we're the only ones who ask questions, apart from owls. But they only ever want to know who's there.
Okay, that was funny.
For years, we've asked questions like, is there a meaning to life? How did those shoes get in my fridge? And most weird of all, how am I thinking these things? When you think,
I like the smell of old books and new books. Just the medium age books aren't.
how am I thinking
Good.
these things? When you think about it, thinking about thinking is the hardest sort of thinking there is, which makes you think. Luckily, some people in old faraway times spent their whole lives doing exactly that sort of thinking.
Benjamin?
People known as philosophers. One of the first philosophers was Pythagoras. His big idea was that everything in the world could be done with numbers, like in Argos.
Nerd.
Pythagoras
Argus?
is best known these days as the inventor of the triangle. A world without his ideas would be unthinkable, because there'd be no Dairy and no way of starting snooker.
Okay, ever since I've watched British stuff on YouTube, I always felt like I'm the new kid, right? But gradually I'm getting the lexicon, the slang, right? But and it's like now it hurts even more when there's something I don't understand.
Because there'd be no Dairy and no way of starting snooker.
Wait, snooker? Is that a card game?
Another old philosopher was Plato. Plato invented platonic relationships. Before him, men and women couldn't just be friends. They had to have full sexual intercourse with each other, which is, of course, what people in platonic relationships want to do really anyway, whatever they tell people. In 1637, French philosopher René Descartes became famous for saying, "I think, therefore I am." Really anyway, whatever they tell people. In 1637, French philosopher René Descartes became famous for saying, "I think, therefore I am." What he was trying to say was, if everything's in our brains, how do we know we exist? And the answer, of course, is footprints. To find out more about philosophy...
Ooh, nice grass. I think, therefore I am. I thought that just meant... obviously, she could be joking, but sometimes she jokes, but does say the right thing, kind of. I think, just like, because I'm thinking, I'm a...
philosophy, I've got an expert here
I'm alive, forget it.
with me. Or to find out more about philosophy, I've got an expert here with me. Or have I? Or am I here? Maybe I'm imagining them, or they're imagining me. Or am I? Hello, philosophy lady. Am I here?
My favorite greeting of hers is just when she sits down, who are you?
Hi. Hello, philosophy lady. Am I here?
Yes.
How do you know?
Well, I can see you, I can probably feel you, I can hear you.
Lovely warm hands.
Thank you. It is possible that I'm dreaming.
Yeah.
He's so... there's no way she's not a genius to have this great comedic timing.
It is possible that I'm dreaming.
Yeah. Or I could be dreaming too, couldn't I?
Or you could be dreaming, yes, but you asked me whether you were here.
So if,
and it's
if
true,
you
that's
were
a very-
if I was dreaming, that wouldn't have happened. No, if you were dreaming, that wouldn't have happened.
No.
If I were dreaming, then my belief that you are here might be false.
Right.
And unless I can tell that I'm not dreaming, therefore, it's possible that you're not here.
Yeah. But if we both sort of nip ourselves.
Well, the trouble with nipping yourself like that is you might dream that as well. I mean, any test...
Okay, but I have 90% of the time, if not more, where I wake up from a dream is when I start to question, when I start to realize, like, wait, what the hell? Is this a dream? And before I can even finish that thought in my dream, I wake up. So that's always a good test. It's like, am I dreaming right now? Well, no, I'm not. Right? Am I correct?
Test you can
Thank
do
you.
to see where stuff like that is, you might dream that as well. I mean, any test you can do to see whether you're awake, you could do when you're asleep. Any belief that could be false if you were asleep is a belief of whose truth you can't be certain unless you can be certain that...
What, lady?
Is a, you could...
I feel like in dreams, you never question anything, right? You like if you ever notice that, like when you're dreaming, it's like nothing, like critical thinking is gone. There's none of that. It's happening. Oh, I'm late for my class. Like I've had this dream a few times. Like I'm in college or high school and I'm late and I have a quiz or a test and I didn't study for it, or like I had a paper and I'm like, it's like, all right, well, I haven't been in high school in 10 years. What like none of that happens. You just like, you accept, you never think. And so right when you start to question, I feel like it's only happened one time where I did dream and I realized it. I guess I'm going against what I said because I said I always wake up. There was one time I didn't, and I literally went outside and I flew because I was like, oh my God, I'm dreaming and I'm not waking up yet. And I was in my old, fast forward if you want, guys. I know I'm like ruining whatever joke, whatever. But I was in my college house, one of them I lived in my junior year. And I realized it. And then I like tried to jump, and I would jump and like I'd try to fly and I'd kind of go down. And then I went outside and I jumped and I went like way up on the street and then kind of went, oh, it was crazy. It was insane, but that's only ever happened once in my life.
Could do when you're asleep. I mean, any test you can do to see whether you're awake, you could do when you're asleep. Any belief that could be false if you were asleep is a belief of whose truth you can't be certain unless you can be certain that you're awake.
Perhaps Descartes was right.
Descartes.
And we think because we are. Because if you think about it, we probably are. And if we aren't, then maybe it doesn't matter. Next time on Moments of Wonder, I'll be asking, who lives in here and what do they want?
Oh, hold on a second. Did she just say something really...
If you think about it, we probably are. And if we aren't, then maybe it doesn't matter. If you think about it, Descartes was right. And we think because we are.
No, maybe.
Because if you think about it, we probably are. And if we aren't, then maybe it doesn't matter.
Hurts brain. Guys, I know some things can be like, some people are like, oh, why are you pausing and playing? You know, it's all a joke, right? Yeah, I get it. But when something cool comes up I want to talk about for a sec, I'm going to talk about it, okay? But I think therefore I am thing, if that's good for dreaming, regardless of how do you pronounce it? Descartes. If you do, like in a dream, I feel like, except that one time I just mentioned, if you stop and think, then you're not dreaming. Like right now, I am 99.9999999% sure. I guess I can never be 100% that I'm not dreaming. Because I'm looking around, I'm like, wait. You know?
Next time on Moments of Wonder, I'll be asking, who lives in here and what do they want?
Next. Also, you guys ever notice have you ever thrown punches in a dream? It's happened a few times for me, and you can't punch. Like your hands, it's not like your arms feel too heavy to throw. It's just that like there's no athleticism, and it's like a noodle. Like, you know, has anyone ever like punched in a dream? It's just like it's like here's. It's like that. No matter how angry you are in your dream or whatever, it's just. It's so frustrating. Yeah, I noticed that. I have a lot of falling dreams. I feel not falling, but like dreams. I had another dream. Fast forward if you want. One of my favorite dreams I've ever had. Actually, except the one where I was kind of lucid, you know, and I could try to fly, but where I was skiing, and every time I went off even the slightest jump, I went like 200 feet in the air, right? And then you go back down, and it's kind of scary because you're like, oh my God, you're going to smash into the ground. And you get that like butterfly feeling in your heart or upper torso area. And then you hit the ground, and it's just perfectly fine. Like you're perfectly fine. And then you can go up another, and you go way high in the air. Like, I have had some dreams that were super fun, like so fun. And if you could find a way that you could recreate that, because I mean, it happened in my head. So which means that whatever's possible of creating that scenario is in there. It just happens when you're dreaming sometimes. If you could figure out a way to like make that on demand, you could just be like, okay, I want to have this dream tonight and go to bed. And I've also had some screwed up nightmares.
For thousands of years, man has been getting better, thanks to one single
medicine,
thing.
penicillin.
Medicines. Medicines means we can treat everything from made-up diseases like the plague to modern epidemics like allergicness to bread. The ancient Egyptians thought that onions were medicine, but they're not.
I love onions.
They literally didn't know they're onions, and that's where we get the phrase from. Of course, today we now know that onions are not a medicine. Onions are disgusting.
No, they're delicious.
Despite all the advances in medicine, there are still some things we can't cure. The common cold, the squints, dicky tummies. Doctors are working on this as we speak, and even when we're not speaking, because some of them work nights. To understand medicine...
Can I say one thing that is going to make me sound like a serial killer? But I'm not, I promise, is I think it'd be really cool. I could just order a skeleton online. Stop. But just to like see, I just want to see like the hinges. I sound like such a psycho right now. Forget everything. Be right back. I gotta pee. I won't be right back. Because I actually recorded that whole thing a few days ago, and I just wanted to put a conclusion to it. So, hilarious as always, love Philomena, and I will see you guys next time in the future. Now, or bye.